Good day everyone and welcome back. Today I want to share with you how to restore a failed marriage or a failing marriage. Are you wondering why your marriage failed? Or are you wondering why it is difficult for you to fix your failing marriage? Well, in this video today I will show you ways on how you can fix a failing marriage or a failed marriage without involving third parties. But remember that every marriage issues can be fixed only if you understand how to go about them. Now let's begin. Finding a way to save your marriage can be challenging. I want to share with you some of the most significant lessons I've discovered while working to mend a shattered marriage. These ideas should motivate and strengthen you to work towards saving your marriage or improving it right away. Whether you need to figure out how to mend your failed marriage or you simply want to strengthen the good marriage you already have. While difficult and challenging phases of marriages are never enjoyable, they do present to us an opportunity to draw nearer to God if we seek and submit to His will. So below are some practical ways to restore your failed marriage or your failing marriage.
How to restore a failed marriage. 1. You can't fix him, but you can fix a broken marriage. You are his wife, and you are his closest friend. This shows you are aware of all his shortcomings. However, this does not imply that it is your responsibility to correct them. A change of heart is required for a change in behavior, and the Holy Spirit is responsible for bringing about that transformation. For your husband, you can pray. You may support your husband. You can encourage your hubby. However, you cannot force him to do anything he does not want to do. I rapidly learned that nagging doesn't work when I was trying to figure out how to save my marriage, let me say that clearly. But you can figure out how to mend a marriage, do the necessary things, and change your own perspective. You cannot, however, fix your husband. I had to focus on the positive aspects of my husband, love him for who he is, and let the Holy Spirit handle the rest as I worked to rescue my marriage. 2. Anger from your husband isn't always directed at you. When your husband is upset or in a foul mood, it can be very tempting to feel hurt and take it personally, but sometimes it's not even about you. Because she is present and he feels secure doing so, a husband will occasionally vent his anger on his wife. Whether this is right or wrong, we all engage in it occasionally. Knowing that his annoyance isn't directed at you is one of the most liberating things you can learn about marital repair. Realizing that it's not always your fault or your obligation when he's upset is incredibly liberating. When my spouse would become irate, I used to feel extremely upset and wounded. Now These are excellent insights to know while you attempt to mend a failing marriage. 3. You must acknowledge your contribution to the issue. That said, there are occasions when it is about you. Perhaps there are things you are doing that add to the problem and exacerbate it. Additionally, until you are prepared to accept responsibility for your part, you cannot repair a damaged marriage. You must be willing to seek the Lord to reveal the parts of your life that are not what they ought to be in order to understand how to heal a failing marriage, and you must have the courage to make the required adjustments. Our intentions are not always as pure as we would like to believe they are, and there is always space for development. Consider this: how am I aggravating the situation? Are there things I should be doing or not doing? For when attempting to repair a broken marriage, divorce isn't the only option. Please understand that while divorce is certainly a choice and occasionally even required, it is not the only one. And occasionally, God can be urging you to persevere through a trying period in order to reap the benefits later. For me, it was like that. Our marriage had at one point been so bad that I had lost all emotional feeling. I was aware of our predicament but could not see a way out. In the event that my marriage ended, I thought of hiring a lawyer to protect my interests and those of my kids. I clearly recall requesting from God, "Can I give him back?" Very swiftly and categorically, I received a no. There are valid reasons to leave, and I might do that. 5. If you must act against your husband's wishes, act in accordance with the Lord's will. Modes. Standard. When working on how to repair a marriage, this decision made a huge difference in how I handled conflict. I realized that I had to choose how I would respond. When we had a disagreement and I felt he was treating me unfairly, I had a choice: I could sulk. I could try to win the argument. I could try other tactics. But instead I asked myself, if divorce is not an option, and you don't want to stay where you are in your marriage, what response will bring healing? What is the right thing to do? I chose to figure out how to fix my broken marriage rather than fight for my rights. It wasn't always easy. But in the most difficult days, when I didn't have much to give, I did my best to love my husband out of obedience to the Lord. I believe in God's will for marriage restoration, and I believe the Lord saw my heart and honored this commitment in my desire to know how to save my marriage. This choice had a profound impact on how I handled conflict while working on how to mend a marriage. I understand that I had to decide how I would react. I had an option when we disagreed and I thought he was treating me unfairly. I could pout. I could attempt to win the discussion. I might attempt alternative strategies. Instead, I pondered this question: if separation is not an option and you don't want to continue in your marriage as it is, what answer can offer healing? What is the right course of action? Instead of fighting for my rights, I decided to figure out how to mend my failing marriage. Not always was it simple. However, through the most trying times. The answer to your prayers may not come right away, and it may take a long time. Sometimes prayer is immediately answered by God. Sometimes God tells us to wait. Before the answer arrived, I pleaded to the Lord for many years to instruct me on how to mend a failing marriage. And when He did react, it most definitely wasn't how I had anticipated. My marriage's game changer manifested itself as a crisis. Although it was really terrible at the time, I am grateful that it occurred. Looking back, it was the only circumstance we could have encountered that would have resulted in the necessary mending for my shattered marriage. It was difficult at the time, but it was also a time of spiritual development and closeness to the Lord. The Lord, so it has been stated. In conclusion, there is no quick remedy for marriage. I can state with certainty that marriage isn't always simple and that it need work after 40 years. Additionally, I can assure you that it was all worthwhile. That same hubby that I wished to return years ago. I now have a deep love for him. He shows me respect and affection. He makes an effort to take care of me and pleasure me every day. We frequently glance at one another and can read each other's thoughts without exchanging words. My husband is the only person on earth who is more familiar with me. I frequently give thanks to God for allowing me to call my husband and friend. There is hope if you're looking for inspiration while you try to figure out how to mend a failing marriage. The Lord has restored my damaged marriage and rewarded my faith and obedience, and I am confident that He can do the same for you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Facebook. Also, like and share the video to your friends. Thanks for watching. See you in another video. Bye.